Kundalini awakening is not the end in itself. Kundalini awakening is not a sense of I am entitled to, or I am more than, or I know better than. You may come across as that at a certain stage of that because you have gone through all the nuances of an awakening. You have gone through and come to your most authentic self, not paying any more heed to the false persona, which may rub people off the other way. But that's not your problem. You've got to stick to your awakening, folks. But remember, just because you're now spiritual awakening or Kundalini awakening does not entitle us to living any more than in terms of I am entitled to more. Yes, you may receive more naturally. Yes, you may be able to tap into the more. You may be able to tap into more abundance. You may be able to tap into more wonderful gifts and receive wonderful wisdom coming through you. And yes, you will live more life. But the irony is, although you will be living more life, you will be experiencing more liveliness, you'll be experiencing more primordial force working through you, you will never feel more than anybody else. You will never feel a sense of I am better than, or that you're on a hierarchy and that you are right at the top or headed for the top, because a true awakening is not going to give you a sense of aggrandizement or an entitlement. It is a different situation altogether if somebody else perceives you as such, because after all, that perception is based on their projection and their projection alone. If you get entangled or enmeshed with the projection and perception of another, turning your story into their dramas or their stories, then yes, it is still something that you're going to have to work on, because you're now making someone else's reality your reality. True, most of you who are on a transition and on a spiritual awakening path, you will go through moments where you'll feel attacked, where you'll feel like, hang on, I had no reason to feel anxiety. Suddenly you're getting an anxiety panic from nowhere. Suddenly you're getting all of this other information from nowhere. And yes, you're an empath. Yes, you're going to be highly sensitive. But what happens in terms of what you're going to do about this information that has landed on your lap, that is not yours, is what makes all the difference. It's what tells you where you are. Yes, you're in transition. Are you headed to a place of more authenticity where you know yourself, you know who you are, you know what your energetic blueprint is, you know your karmic blueprint, you know your awakened state, you know your level of awareness, you know your own perceptions, and you also know when you yourself are projecting. So this is very vital, very key, that when someone else is projecting, when someone else is perceiving, that is where the difference between you and anybody else will come about, because of the perception, the level of awareness. But that difference in itself does not give rise to that entitlement, and that difference in of itself is not really a deep difference in terms of the difference of what we're all made of, because underlying all of us is exactly the same thing. The difference is in perception, the difference is in awareness, the difference is in the caliber of how you are able to perceive. How neutral are you going to be? So folks, remember, a Kundalini awakening, a spiritual awakening, is not a badge. It is not a star for work well done, although you're doing a great job. But it's not an entitlement. It is not that we're being bestowed with an honor. Yes, it is quite the opposite in terms of it's very humbling. It is very humbling. It is not dishonoring, but it does become very dishonorable of us if we then seek a form of entitlement, or we get involved with aggrandizement, right? Remember, folks, You yourself is different from the way that you are perceived. And what we do know, which we've covered before and we are going to cover in depth, is that those of you who are already walking in your light, you're already walking in that authenticity, you're already walking in a very high vibration. Yes, you will rub people off the wrong side. Yes, you will come across as somebody who knows more than them or more than, right? It's not that you know more, you've just gone into the depth of experience and taken a free fall into the unknown, and therefore you'll be able to live the unknown, something that others may not be able to tap into. But are you more entitled? No, you know you're not, right? It doesn't matter what else is thought about you outside of you, as long as you know, and you know that your spiritual awakening has not brought about any form of aggrandizement. In fact, quite the opposite, because it has been the most humbling experience when you realize you are but a particle, yet in that particle, you're a walking, talking, infinite self. Sending you lots of love. Take care of yourself, your awakening, and see how far you've come.